then we'll go ahead and completely get started. Oh yes, here we go.
Yay.
Okay, so welcome everyone. I am Rebecca, and we're about to do one of my very, very favorite things in the world, and that is talk about what it means to develop an aspect of kindness and to do soul work. I like it almost as much as handstands. I like it almost as much as competitive games, which again, for the four of us that are in the room, I have to tell you, I already won. My favorite way of talking about aspects of the soul that are universal that I think can be developed in concrete ways is to at some point turn it into a game. So again, no offense, but I'm already very good at it and I'm very competitive. And I describe this as the say hello first game. Okay. So basically all you have to do to win is to say hello first. All right, so just so you know, I'll give an example. My friend Sarah is about to join us in this room. I will definitely win with her. Okay. She's joining. I can feel the anticipation. I get to greet her. Welcome, Sarah. How are you?
Hi, good, hi.
Again, Sarah, you're just joining us, and I would just like you to know, I won. I won because the game is greet the other person first. Everyone will have a chance to play again once we go into a couple of breakout rooms. I want to just hold on one second. I'm posting, just sticking something on my Facebook page just to see if there's anybody else that would like to join us, and we'll begin. Okay, so welcome. Right now, not just in the world, but in our timeline of Jewish experience, I like to think of the days immediately following the Seder as chaotic, okay? It just so happens that the rest of the world lined up with that philosophy in practice. And what I think of as chaos is those first few moments of freedom. If we were imagining ourselves as slaves in Egypt, and now we are free, we might have forgotten what that means. We went through the ritual of creating it, of the significant rituals and memories around the Seder, and now we're free. And so it's sort of like, what do we do with that? There is a process between Passover for 49 days where we sort of take things day by day, which is not something I've ever been good at. I'm kind of I want it all myself kind of person all at once. But it turns out it's a phenomenal process. So we count for 49 days. It's called counting the Omer. And every time we get a little bit further on these 49 days, we get a little bit closer to when we collectively receive our traditional narrative, when we have the holiday of Shavuot and we take in the Torah. Basically, we're ready to receive. We take 49 days to get ourselves in order. The Kabbalists understand this in a very thoughtful, embodied soul way through something called Sfirot, which are basically, they are divine and universal attributes that can be found in each of us, right? Each week, each of the 7 weeks has its own area of focus. And what I absolutely love in this time of like chaos, that the first things that we have to focus on from an attribute and soul perspective is loving kindness. Okay. It's not get your act in gear, be super productive, hit the ground running. It's a little bit of softness. Okay. So there are a variety of ways to do that. You might have one that already works for you to sort of bring a little bit of love into your body. And what I've heard from a lot of my students is we're spending a lot of time like this and a lot of time like this. Okay, it's not really great for the posture. It's not great for our joints. So I just want to give a little bit of love to the head and neck, as well as the wrists, while I talk a little bit about this idea of loving kindness, and especially what it means to have something like loving kindness embodied. All right. So we'll start just with, if you just make a fist, okay? When you make a fist, the muscles of your wrist are gonna hug the bone, okay? And how tightly you clasp is really up to you. It doesn't take much to engage. And again, that mere act of the muscles hugging the bone is like, it is like an act of chesed, okay? And then I want you to turn your wrists in. I'm gonna back up slightly. Sometimes I like to do this. Remember, I'm like super buff, okay? Give yourself a little love, mwah, mwah, all right? And then all you have to do is you keep the wrists bent, but straighten your arms. And you can go back and forth, opening up the wrists, just to give yourselves a little space, and then release. You might feel like a little more connection through here. Again, what that hugging does, it kind of opens up the carpal tunnel and gives you something, some new life in the wrists. All right, another one for the neck is to weave your fingers together and bring your hands behind your head. So here, again, when I say students, sometimes I'm talking about people who are exploring midot and this idea of characteristics, soul traits, and exploring them. And sometimes I'm talking about yoga students. And sometimes they're the same thing. All right, so rather than pushing your head down and sort of forcing this turning in, I want you to just gently connect your head into your hands. And already that's going to bring your head in line with your heart. And then go ahead and hug your elbows in. Again, how tightly you connect in here, it's up to you. It's just so that it feels connected here. And then go ahead and give your neck some traction. I see Sarah's gonna come back in. Cool. All right, you're gonna give your neck some traction. All right, it's as if you're using your forearms to lift everything up. Okay. Can reach your arms all the way up. Lift through the sides of the body. Stretch the arms out. Pull your collarbones wide. And then lower down. And just that, again, all it takes to bring awareness to an area and invite something new is sometimes like a little bit of physical contact and physical connection. Again, This to me is what this work is all about, finding a concrete way to develop a practice that cultivates this soul trait. All right. So here are, I wanted to just offer 2 rules, okay? The work that we're doing together is personal, and it actually is incredibly generous and brave to come online and be willing to be curious, okay? So I will invoke the 2 holiest rules of my family, all right? And they're actually the only rules. Everything else stems from this, okay? So the 2 rules are speak with kindness and choose generosity. Right? For me, this was the easiest way to invite my family into a way of putting ourselves out there, as well as inviting people in. And if we could just, again, like, give 2 raised hands if you are willing to speak with kindness and choose generosity in both what you offer and what you receive for today. Fantastic. Welcome, welcome. All right, thank you. Excellent. So, all right. The next thing that we're going to do is I would love to not do all of the talking. So I have unmuted everybody. It is absolutely your choice to mute yourself and choose like generosity by like receiving. Here it's sort of like participation and participation by choice, really. Within this work of the VOD, silence is as valued as enthusiasm, and I trust your judgment on which to offer, right? But I would like to put out there, if you could just, I'd like to put it together a little bit of a list. I'm gonna put it in the chat of what is a kindness that you could name that has been done for you?
In general or recently or?
That is an excellent question. Thank you. It could be anything. Sometimes I go big, okay? I think about the kindness of every teacher I've ever had, every place where I've ever learned something, the kindness of every healthcare professional I've ever been in touch with. And then I also think about like a small kindness about how my daughter says hi to me when she greets me on the phone and looks me in the eye on FaceTime. It's like she's always happy to see me, and I think that's an incredibly generous, like that is an act of kindness that I've received. So it's up to you. I'm ready to tell. I have one. I'm sorry, my brain goes fast. A friend did my grocery shopping last week. There was a question about whether I was healthy enough to be out in public, and he just went grocery shopping for me. An act of kindness that has been done for you. Ooh, I see. Oh, nice. Okay, a long distance friend. Ooh, nice. Gifted with a month-long online yoga pass. Oh, so nice. Okay. You can say it out loud or type it in, whatever is your preference. Excellent. Ooh, your family offered a chance for a tikkun. Oh, nice. And then just like that, a chance for a tikkun, like a chance to repair something or to reconnect pieces that were separate. Fantastic. My adult children caring and compassion during this time. We're sharing a living space. Whew, that's a big one. Nancy went for the big guns. Fantastic. Fantastic. All right. A couple of, I'm trying to think of a couple of others. Oh, I have someone helped me go through Israeli health forms, like health insurance forms online. I definitely still need to take Ulpan. I live in Jerusalem, for those of you who don't know, and it's incredibly challenging. All right, let's see. I think we have 6. All right, as I explained last week. Making masks for your household. Thank you, Leah. Sharing responsibility with errands, childcare, laundry, cleaning. Fantastic. Okay, so I like to have at least 6. I explained last week that the number 6 is important in a variety of ways. One of them is it's a solid improv trick to get your brain open. All right, just start thinking about things so that you can put them into play. It also happens to be that there is a grammatical phrase at the beginning of every standard blessing in Hebrew. And that one is Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam. It's called the Pticha, literally an opening. And it's like, you gotta kind of warm up, and then all of the blessings come into play. All right, so same things here. All right, there is another way that we're going to work. All right, I'm going to break people into breakout rooms. We're gonna do, I'm gonna stay with the Facebook Live group and talk a little bit about this. To me, there is a practice of 3 words that is, again, is an opportunity for chesed, kindness in action, okay? And it follows the guidelines of someone who I like to think of as my favorite, crankiest rabbi, okay? My favorite, crankiest rabbi actually has something I think very profound to say about kindness, and he doesn't even use the phrase chesed, okay? Which is its own learning in a couple of reasons. So Shammai, we learned Shammai says, say little and do much and greet every person with a cheerful face. All right. So just so you know, nowhere does he use the does use the phrase chesed, which to me means, like, again, all of these kinds of attributes of the soul, they're out there. We just have to figure out ways to look for them and find them. So as you can see from our list of 6, people are willing to do much. It doesn't always have to be something that someone says that's the kind thing, although it absolutely can be. But it is an opportunity to do much. The game that I played at the beginning of the phone call, greet every person with a cheerful face, that is a game, a standard, again, standard game I like to play and win. Be the first to say hello with a smile. All right, the say a little part, I think, is challenging. All right, so just as an offering, as a practice, we're going to go into breakout rooms and do another exercise that I like to call Tell Me More. All right, each person will have a chance to share to the depth of their interest and be as specific as they would like, but it will be a simple sharing. And the other people in the room will, there might be one, there might be two, the other people in the room will, all they have to do is say the words, "Tell me more." They'll say little, all right? The challenge is the other people in the room will say it 6 times, all right? An example, we're gonna do a quick round. I'll do the example. Will be, let's see. I can choose to talk about anything. All right, I have it, okay? The speaker will use a simple sentence without any dependent clauses, okay? And then allow for a pause and someone will chime in with "Tell me more." So it goes like this. I didn't go outside at all today.
Tell me more.
I didn't really have a reason to, and I didn't really want to.
Tell me more.
There's definitely, I noticed some fear about it. And with that fear, I kind of want to pull inside and try and just sort of like nestle inside.
Tell me
Tell me
more.
more.
The double, okay. It was a really sunny day though, and I have a garden. I think this is number 4.
Tell me more.
And there is a nice place to sit outside and just sort of be in sunshine.
Tell me more.
And I notice I don't regret not going outside today. Awesome. Anybody can say it. Last one.
Tell me more.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'll see how I feel tomorrow and probably make a plan to just go sit outside and drink my coffee outside tomorrow. And that's it.
Becca, I have a question.
Yes.
Before we do this exercise, you mentioned that you're live streaming this on Facebook. When we do the group sharing, is that going to be public also?
Oh, thank you so much for that great question. No, that's why I wanted to take things to a breakout room. So that, again, it would be with people who have chosen to be here and to think about things on a soul level. And that also, again, everyone has an opportunity to practice it and try it out. And everyone also has an opportunity to pass or pass for now. Those are also phenomenal opportunities to take. Again, and it should be, this process should be a kindness to yourself. So you get to share to the depth that you would like to. And there's no problem sort of holding back and being as vague as one might want to be, or as specific as feels good for you. Hopefully what you can see is, like, again, the say little part of this act of chesed is it's something specific, it's an invitation, and allows the other person an opportunity to find their own way. I can tell you, well, actually, I know how I feel when I say tell me more. Would anybody be willing to share what the tell me more part felt like for them as an experience?
Mm.
Well, there's no stress in it because you don't have to figure anything out. You're just inviting them to say more.
Exactly. It's like a relief for me to be able to not have to solve the problem, even though there's nothing I love more than solving somebody else's problems. Yeah, also when I really have no clue and I feel overwhelmed by what a person is sharing, just to allow myself to sort of be steady and grounded, but also open to whatever it is that they need to share feels good to me. All right. Anyone else?
It also felt very neutral to me. Like there's no positive or negative judgment on what the person is sharing. It's like, oh, good for you. Like pressure, or it's just, it just is. Tell me more.
Yeah. I also have used it in some work situations where I actually am really bothered by something and I need to explore it. I'm not gonna lie, I've also used it in several parenting situations where, again, I'm really, I definitely have an opinion about it. But that it's like the gift of neutrality, which also then is like keeps me in the space of choosing generosity and not passing judgment, and maybe I will learn something. It's can it can just be a kind, simple, say little thing to do. All right. So right now it's going to be a very exciting moment where I do. Oh, here's another one. Because someone else is coming. Someone very near and dear to my heart. Hold on 1 second. She's connecting to audio, and I'm going to help her join right in. Mira Sykes. Hello.
Mira.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi, Mira Sykes. Okay, Mira, you're just in time to go into a breakout room. Fortunately,
Good.
Mira Sykes is familiar both with the rules of the VOD because she grew up in our family, as well as Mira, they're the same two rules we always have. What are they?
Speak with kindness and choose generosity.
Woohoo!
Ah,
Parenting win.
it's a total parenting win. But also, she's kind of a stellar human being. So she would probably come up with those on her own. Okay. So Mira Sykes, we are going to do the game of Tell Me More. Okay. With 6 rounds where the person speaking can share to their level of comfort, and the other person is just going to say 6 times, tell me more. Okay.
Okay.
And then you'll take turns and the other person will go. I'll be able to send you a message when we're about done. Once you get in there. I'm going to invite probably about 5 or 6 minutes. And just also please remember, like the example that I gave was, it's like a simple, concise sentence. It's a say little, do much opportunity for you as well. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. This is very exciting. I have done this, but I have only done this with the help of someone else. All right. And so this is a new opportunity for me to create the breakout rooms. I'm feeling very excited about my Zoom capabilities. The people who helped me through it were especially kind. All right. You're going to be randomly assigned. Okay. If you do not know the person in your room, see if you can greet them first. Hello, my name is, what the pronouns I use are, etc. And then you'll decide who goes first. And then I'll let you know when it's about halfway through and it's possible to switch. What are other questions that you might have?
I have a question.
Yes.
So 5 to 6 minutes for our whole entire breakout room to do the tell me more exercise.
Yes. I think I'm going to do 6 minutes. There's going to be 3 people in each group.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Nancy. All right. On your mark, get set, go.
Are we
Open.
breaking?
Okay.
Join.
Yep. You'll go ahead and take care of that. And I will set a timer for 3 minutes. While they're in there, we'll keep going. All right. So for everyone else who's with us, either on Facebook or YouTube, I'll just share again how I got into this process, which is, it was, again, like a real kindness. It was by invitation. And I think there's something to that. An invitation to think about how do we develop character, how do we develop the soul of people that we are connected to, that we supervise, who mentor us, and what does it mean to be a professional out in the world and not just have good time management skills or creative ideas, but to be able to function on a mental and physical level, but also on a soul level. And again, last week we focused on anava, on humility, of literally just opening the space. And this practice of chesed, I think it's about softening the space, okay? Softening the space in the same way that you might soften in a really good hug, okay? The kind that holds you and lets you just sort of melt into it, all right? So once we've opened up the space, we can soften the edges of it a little bit. And again, this kind of goes back towards how loving kindness can show up in the world. Traditionally, this is something that is in the realm of the people who have bodies, okay? It means we can talk about it in terms of loving acts of loving kindness that the divine, that God has for us, and that we have for God, but really it's about like what's happening. And even when we notice like the first kinds of acts of chesed in the Torah, okay? So one of them is actually when Abraham invites the angels into his tents. And it's because of that, one moment please, I'm going to broadcast a message to the people who are in the breakout rooms, just to let them know we're halfway through, okay? And okay, so there is the story in Genesis and Bereshit where Abraham invites all of the angels. He actually does this incredible action of kindness, welcoming them in, washing their feet, all of those things. And it comes back into a later discussion that Abraham has with God about the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, okay? And it's literally God's relationship with Abraham, where God's like, okay, well, all right, I see that was an act of kindness. All right. So like Abraham is actually, we see, I'm going to say something completely heretical. Say it anyway. I say it with respect and kindness. Okay. I like to think that we get to see the learning process of God as well. I would like to think my understanding of the divine, we're going to get a little theological here. My understanding of the divine is that it is so all knowing and all encompassing that it includes the not knowing. Okay. And for all of the teaching and opportunities to learn there are for us, the same is true on the flip side. Okay. That can be another discussion for another day, maybe when we're doing curiosity, we can do that one. There's a soul trait called machloket, which is like a disagreement. All right. So opposing forces that lead you towards a greater understanding. But back to chesed, right? This is something that is embodied. We can do an act of kindness for someone else, and we can understand someone else's intention to be kind to us, and even hopefully feel and receive those actions of kindness. It's, yes, the intention, but it's also in the doing. You can feel it, but as my friend and educator, Jay Frankel says, you can, it's a behavior you could take a picture of. You could put a camera on it and see that. All right. I'm going to wrap up their experience. Okay. I'm sending them a top secret message. If you'd like to know what the top secret breakout messages are, then you have to come in the Zoom next time. Okay, excellent. All right, so they'll be making their way back to our experience. And as they do, we'll just welcome them back in. Again, greeting them first, having a chance. By the way, it wasn't just that Shammai says, say little, do much, and greet every person with a cheerful face. We have Yochanan ben Zakkai, who was, it was like, this is what he was famous for. Okay, he was famous for greeting people first in the marketplace and everywhere possible. All right. Just see, this is what I love. It's taking everyone a little bit of time to come back, which means they are having a hard time wrapping up. And then at a certain point, they come back. Welcome. Hi, Greg. Hi, Mira. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Leah. And also, hello to the other person who just joined us. Hi, Nancy. Again, winning, winning, winning. All right. Also, just so everybody knows, my policy for the VOD, my policy for yoga class is come when you can, okay? And stay for as long as you can. There are benefits to having a core group of people that meet together again and again, and that can be a possibility. But as an expression of chesed, it feels much more important to me that anybody who wants to be here can make their way in as they are. All right, welcome back. Thank you for rejoining us. I was just explaining that it's not just Shammai who had this game of greeting people. Oh, very nice. Oh, welcome from Hong Kong. Fantastic. So nice to have you here. All right. So not just Sham, I had this game of greeting people, not just greeting people, but greeting them with a smile. We have Yochanan Ben Zakkai, who was famous for winning at this game as well, in addition to being an incredible sage, teacher, commentator in a variety of ways, greeted people first. All right. Okay. So my next project is, again, we'll be breaking people up into groups. I wanted to go back and just look at the chat from before, these written things, these written acts of kindness that have been done for you, and maybe that you have also participated in. We had, I'm just going to review them quickly: making masks for my household, shared responsibility with errands, childcare, laundry, cleaning, family offering an opportunity for a tikkun, again, a repair or a rejoining of something that felt broken. A yoga teacher making videos for shelter in place. A friend did my grocery shopping last week. Being gifted with a month-long online yoga class pass. Adult children caring and compassion during this time where everybody's sharing a living space. I had somebody help me go through some insurance forms. Good times. That one was an incredible act of kindness, because not only did I need the help, I was resistant to it. Okay. All right. When you look at these actions, I was trying to think of like how to ask this question. I want to know, like, what did this do for you? If you could like kind of categorize it. I'll give an example. Mine, for the health insurance forms, it's going to sound weird, but one was like, yes, it felt encouraging, like I could do this, but mostly it felt like it left me feeling like I belong here. I belong here, literally here in Jerusalem where I live, and I also belong here in this relationship. It just allowed me to felt like I belonged. All right. So if you could imagine, like, how did it leave you feeling, I guess would be another way to think about it.
Can I just make a comment about what you just said? Because it was very
Yeah,
interesting
please.
that, like, it was so hard for you and it's chaotic. And yet once it was, and you didn't want to do it and you didn't want to accept help, but once it was all said and done, it did the exact opposite. Like, it made you feel like you belong. So it's almost like that whole idea of anything that, like, before creation, chaos has to come. You know, is that chaos? But then there was this new feeling of belonging. So I thought
Yeah.
that that was very interesting.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. And also that it's interesting that you bring it back to Genesis, that origin story where, again, there is chaos at first, and then there's the actual construction of the universe that brings us to a new place. All right. So yes, somebody had to take the time and do that construction with me. What else?
Okay, well, I guess I'll share one more about what with me is that it's so fascinating because the last time all four of us, and you know this family unit, have lived in the same space like this was way back before my oldest child even went away to college, and he's been out of college now for let's see, 2020, I don't know, 6 years maybe, is that right? Something like that. No, it can't be that. long, but something like that. I don't even remember. Anyway, what's been fascinating is just to be amongst this unit that we've been a unit for, you know, obviously the whole lifespan of our family, but in these different roles now, as you know, these little kids, teenagers, young adults have literally turned into adults, and they're acting in a way, it's hard to verbalize, but they're acting in a way that I'm so glad, you know, the way that they're acting with compassion and with kindness and with caring, and to see, you know, like different situations that may have come up, let's say a decade ago, um, that come up now, and how they, as the adults that they are, deal with that situation. It's just been really very interesting, you know, because I haven't been able to see it in action, only for small snippets of time when we've been together for like holidays, which is really a short period of time. So that's been really very fascinating. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You know, again, that's sort of like, I think I get like the things that you can see and learn from that situation, like the good and the intense or
Right.
troubling, those kinds
Right.
of things. Again, like to me, I'm going to offer a couple of other ways to do it, and then I have another request of you all to be able to break out and try and so that we can leave with some concrete things. I feel like it's maybe Nancy, it's given you an opportunity to see them as they are, and as well as them seeing you as you are, like to meet each other as adults and feel seen in a way. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, sure. That's
Cool.
good.
Awesome.
Mhm.
I feel like those are the two big ones. I also feel like someone who does an act of kindness for me, it leaves me feeling like I matter. Okay. I also, when I'm doing something kind for someone else, when I'm developing this a skill set, I care very much about making sure that person knows that they are getting a direct transmission of respect, love, care, and being seen. So this is my request. I'm going to break people up into 3 groups again, and I'm going to ask you to come up together in your group with a concrete list of, I'm going to ask you to go for 6 ways that you could convey to somebody that they belong,
Mm.
that you could convey to someone that they feel seen, that they are seen, and also that they matter. Okay. And when I asked you to describe something, you came up with very concrete examples, and it's time to start thinking about, okay, I need to embody these actions myself. Okay. So I'm just going to build on my technical prowess again. Okay.
Very proud.
And you'll have 3 or 4 people per room. Okay. 2 or 3 people per room. Okay. You'll be in 3 rooms. All right. And then I'll message each room. Well, let's see. If you're in breakout room number 1, you'll be things that help someone understand that they belong. An act of kindness, a specific act of kindness. Okay. Room number 2, you'll be in I see you. Okay. It's a specific act of kindness that lets someone feel seen, and another one that lets you feel like you matter. Okay. And if you come up with things that don't quite fit, I guarantee we will choose generosity and make sure that they fit. So this is definitely an easygoing goal. All right. On your mark, get set, go. Okay. The groups are randomly assigned. So I am going to just hold on one second. Okay, cool. On your mark, get set, go. And then for everybody else, again, I'm going to just message them as they join. Okay. Room 1, belong. Room 2, seen. Room 3, you matter. Excellent. Okay. So again, we're all gonna have a different way of doing things. We're all gonna have a different way of cultivating kindness. My sister is frankly one of the kindest people on the face of the earth. And she not only does it by listening, by working hard, she literally will think of something that you might need or might want and just send it to you. She is constantly thinking about ways to be thoughtful so that another person feels like they matter. She would never not include everyone. So like those are the things, like I think about any package or postcard or letter that my sister has ever sent me, and she's definitely one of my living, breathing examples of that. I, however, am allergic to the post office, and it's not my way of like showing love. But I will sit and listen. And I will sit and listen to a friend with focus and with generosity. And if I can't, then I'll say, what you have to say is important to me. Can we talk later? So that I am kindly respecting my own boundaries about those things. And we just all have our different ways of doing things. So it's not about like, do this and you will be a kind person. It takes a little bit of time to sort of cultivate what ideas do you have, what moves you, so that you can, although I'm giving them a message, give you, so that the offering feels authentic to you. It kind of goes back to what Shammai was saying when he says, greet every person with a cheerful face. I do not think about this as, you know, somebody who is like a fake smile. Literally, it just means like, even if I have just come from a very intense conversation or some way that I am wrestling with my own things, I turn to greet somebody else and they don't know where I've been and they don't know what I've just been frustrated about. So I will cultivate a practice of seeing somebody, smiling at them, at least opening my eyes to meeting that person in a fresh way. Okay, I'm going to close their rooms and they're going to come on back and give us a couple of concrete examples of ways to show up and cultivate kindness. And again, these need to be specific. I think it's overwhelming to say like, oh, we're going to be kind in the world. What the world needs now. I mean, yes, 100%. At the same time, it needs to be concrete and specific. All right, people are making their way back. Welcome, Sarah. Hi. Thank you for coming back. I'm talking about how it's overwhelming to say like, I'm going to be kind to myself. I'm going to be kind to other people. It's like, I desperately feel the need for there to be a concrete way to cultivate it. And the other thing that I was just discussing is that one person's concrete way to show up and be kind in the world is not everyone's way to show up and be kind. So what I would love to do is I'm going to record the minutes of your suggestions. And in our last few minutes together, I would love to just create a list of ways that someone might cultivate kindness. On your mark, get set, go. Room number one.
Well, Leah shared a beautiful example about letting somebody merge ahead unexpectedly. So if
Oh,
you're thinking about driving, and we said in the current environment where most of us aren't driving, it might be in a market where instead of saying I'm next, just holding back, motioning, letting the person through. You don't know the person, but just that kind of a gesture. So that was a beautiful idea.
That is an incredibly good one. It's like a nice, I like it. Okay, what else do we have?
We said making a phone call to someone out of the blue that you haven't talked to in a while.
Oh, nice. Yes. Mira? Are there any from your group that resonate with you?
So we didn't really do what you assigned us to do. We we mostly, well, also you didn't give us that much time, which I know not a lot of time left, but we mostly talked about, like, we weren't sure which thing we were. We weren't sure if we were like making somebody feel welcome or making somebody feel seen. But we started talking about the sort of distinction between those two and what those mean. So thinking about how making somebody feel welcome is more of a group thing, like you welcome somebody into a group, while feeling seen is usually more of like a person to person thing. Although Nancy did something she did bring up, which is kind of what you were talking about and wanted us to do. Somebody mentioned, you know, a book that they had read or wanted to read, and then somebody else sending it to them in the mail would be a way of being seen. So we did do what you asked.
You're amazing. You're amazing. Okay. It is my policy to respect the time that was offered. So I'm going to wrap things up. I would be very, very happy to stay in the Zoom and continue sharing. What I would love to offer again is like, this really does just speak to the fact that like, we can be kind, like we don't have to do it all in 1 hour and feel like we are experts. And at the same time, like it's endless, okay? This is, according to our tradition, acts of loving kindness are one of the things that the entire world rests on, okay? My dear friend, Sarah, again, is actually the one who taught me the tune and the song for Build This World with Love. And it's on the playlist that I send out on Facebook. If you want it, I'll be happy to send it again. But this is what the work requires: to change on a soul level and to develop the soul. There have to be ways that we move in a concrete way. And while last week's was literally just opening the space with Anava, this week is Chesed, where we'll soften the space so that we can start to really see what's there. And if I could offer a consensual hug to everybody virtually, I definitely would. And I would want it to be that kind of hug that is like muscle hugging bone, that just allows this incredible softening, so that you could be with whatever it is that you need to be with, and then make your way into the world with the exact kind of kindness that works for you. I'll turn off the live stream. So thank you to Jewish Live and Dan and April and everybody else who showed up online to be with us tonight. And thank you very much. See